Hello dear students. Kubla Khan is a popular poem written by S.T. Coleridge. The poet tells that he had written this poem with two reasons. He had read the historical account of Kubla Khan written by Marco Polo. The second one, he was under the influence of opium. The poet had a dream of Kubla Khan. In the dream, he saw that Kubla Khan was ordering the construction of summer palace. It was built in Xanadu. The poet continues to explain the natural and monumental beauty of the palace. The entire poem is the description of the palace, written under the influence of opium. Therefore, throughout the poem, the reader finds that there are confusing allusions to persons and places. The palace was built for enjoyment. Therefore, the poet calls it a pleasure dome. It was 10 miles wide, and the sacred river Alf ran through it in meandering and mazy motion. It contained a mighty fountain, and the river crossed through beautiful chasms and reached the sunless sea. There were mountains in the palace. These mountains were filled with ancient jungle and dark caves. There was a beautiful garden inside the palace. In the garden, there were incense-bearing trees. It is a mystical kind of explanation done by the poet. The pleasure dome was a sunlit one and was also covered with the bright ice. Inside the palace, there was an Abyssinian maid singing a melodious song. She was playing a musical instrument called dulcimer. The poet writes that she was singing about Mount Abora. The poet sees in his dream that Kubla Khan himself had a vision. In that vision, Kubla saw that his ancestors were prophesying about the war. The poet thinks that he cannot build such a beautiful palace. So, he tries to build a palace in his own words. He describes that the palace was seen to be floating on the water. Therefore, the poet plans to write this poem to describe that beautiful palace. The poet explains the fiery and shining eyes of Kubla Khan. In this part, the poet describes about the personality of Kubla Khan. He had long, floating hair. His eyes were shining and fiery. All these descriptions give a detailed picture of Kubla Khan and his beautiful palace. When the poet was writing, he was under the influence of opium and was half asleep. But while he was writing, someone entered his room which distracted him. After the guest went away, the poet sat again to complete the poem, but he could not. Therefore, the poet could not complete this poem and it remained a fragment. Thank you.